Belize is still a secret somehow. I don't get it. One of the top search terms related to Belize is, where is Belize? Like, people don't know. And
it's a big thing.
It is. And
Yeah.
so when people come here, like oftentimes, like by day 3, they're like, you live here, huh? Yeah. Well, how could I do that? Like, I get that question all the time. How can I live here?
Welcome to the Ultimate Real Estate Lifestyle Podcast. I am your host, Guy Bouchard, and we are filming in Belize with our special guest, Grant Ice. Grant, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And just want to give a little bit of background before I get into asking you some questions. But you and I have a fairly new, but I would say pretty good relationship in the 6 to 8 months that we've been talking since I first reached out. Grant and I met when I was starting to inquire about real estate opportunities in Belize. And as you'll tell our viewers and discuss more, you're for a reason. His name kept coming up no matter where I searched, no matter how I searched. The company and Grant's name kept coming up for the person that I needed to talk to or the access to the listings to find real estate opportunities. So as I do as a real estate investor, I call around, I talk to the people that know some things, who have access to information, and of course, your name kept popping up. Now, can you just give our viewers a little bit of background on you, your company, and why the heck your name kept coming up when I searched real estate in Belize?
Yeah. So first of all, yes, my name is Grant Ice, and I was born with that, and it is Ice, I-C-E, because everyone always thinks it's fake. I should have been a movie star, but that was my birth name.
Your time is not up yet, my friend.
Not yet. I came to Belize almost 15 years ago, and I just came here. I didn't know a soul, just kind of a start your life over type thing. There was some stuff in the past that was sad, but we won't get into that. But anyway, so I came here, and I didn't know anything about what there was, what opportunities or anything like that. And I wanted to learn tech. That was my biggest negative in my life as far as business is concerned, was I didn't know anything about websites or anything. So I immersed for 2 years in online webinars and classes and things like that. And I taught myself how to build websites, and I taught myself how to do search engine optimization, SEO, which is how you get to page 1 and really the top of the page 1 for search terms related to the business that you're in, which is why you found me so often. So I have a website called Belize Real Estate MLS, like multiple listing service.com, Belize Real Estate MLS.com. And we are top of the page 1 for, I think I looked yesterday, 417 search terms. Anything you're looking for in Belize that's real estate related, you'll see us.
Well, and to that point, and I'll let you continue, but to that point, when you say MLS, right? That's the multiple listing service,
correct,
as we know it in North America.
Correct.
Right. And that was the thing that I was curious about when I was searching. I was like, why does this keep popping up? Like, is this Belize MLS? Is this the way that things are done? Why is there sort of a different way of doing business? And as I quickly understood, no, there isn't an MLS, but that's where you created your own opportunity, which led you to ultimately being the MLS.
Correct. So that was a huge piece of the business that I saw that was available. In the country, there's about 50 different brokerages, and most of the time they don't like to work with each other. They don't refer each other. If you got an agent over here, I won't mention any brokerages, but they're going to show you if you're the buyer, what they have available, and then that's kind of it. They don't tell you, oh, you can go down the street because they got this one available. They just don't. Anyway, so I thought, let's aggregate them all. And so my listing has over 4,400 listings. Pretty much everybody in the country is on my website. And then I represent the buyer, and I co-broker with the listing agent.
Right.
And so from a buying point of view, it makes it so easy to find what's available. And in fact, many, many agents in the country use the MLS as well when they do have somebody that they're looking for something. And so they'll oftentimes, and I do it for free for them. If they're looking for something, they'll send me a WhatsApp and say, hey, who's the listing agent on this? I look it up. I send it back. I do it as a free service for the agents, just for goodwill and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, it's a pretty fantastic thing that you're doing, because it's not only self-serving for your company and the things that you're doing, but it's actually a collaboration.
Absolutely.
And you're bringing people together, and you're helping both the buyers and the sellers and the agents and every single person that's involved. And I mean, that's what I found so attractive about using your service and even being on your website, is that it didn't matter what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Multifamily, residential, land,
farm, resort, condo, anything.
It's the MLS.
And it doesn't matter where in the country, we're everywhere.
Well, and that's, you know, for a lot of our viewers and the people that are looking for international investments, I haven't done a ton of research into other countries and to countries I'm not familiar with outside of North America to see what's available. But I would imagine there's probably, you know, different setups for different regions and different countries that have, you know, maybe more or less sophisticated stuff. But the point is that when people are coming here, and when I came here, there was a source of information, which was you, that gave unbiased opinions and unbiased access to any investment opportunities that I was looking for throughout the entire region.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things, is I'm not attached. I mean, I have a couple listings, but I'm not attached to the end result. I don't care what property you buy. A lot of times the listing agents sort of try to push you to whatever they have available. Doesn't matter. I'm here to serve you whatever you want. You know,
that's perfect.
And I'm happy to help you. How many properties have we looked at already?
Well, we've done a tour, and I was just about to get to that. But we started talking, like I mentioned, 6 to 8 months ago, which was well before I had my trip planned, like the dates and the times. But I made it pretty clear to you that, you know, our strategy is to look for value add opportunities in the multifamily and hospitality space, because we're interested in hotels as well. And then we set that up. And we were able to set that up, and you put together the bookings, you contacted the realtors, you have done the legwork that any realtor would, with or without the structure of what a real estate agent would typically have. But of course, you've got your business and you're doing it and you're showing me around. But we've had the ability to go to Key Cocker, which we looked at some assets there. We are now in Ambergris, where I'm staying and where you reside, right, in San Pedro.
Yes, correct.
And we've looked at a ton of opportunities, and we're continuing to do that. And for the other aspect of it that really intrigued me, which drew me to you specifically, and which was a nice added bonus to our relationship, and a lot of what the viewers are probably looking for to live vicariously through this adventure of me being here, is that you are an expat. Right? Like you're not born and raised here in Belize. You've kind of alluded to it, but your origin is in the United States.
Correct.
You moved here 15 years ago, met your now wife. Yep. And you had a child here, and you have made this your life.
And I have my citizenship as well, so I'm dual citizen. Yeah.
Well, and that's a big part of what I'm exploring, not only for this country but for other countries, and it's what I feel like a lot of people in the real estate space, not even in the real estate space, in the world, as we search through this journey, they're looking for options. Yeah. And they're looking for what would life be like on the other side? What would it like being in another country? What does that possibility even look like? And you've lived and experienced it years before I think a lot of people were even considering it. So can you just talk a little bit about what that journey has meant to you and what you've gone through?
So I've always been an adventurer. And so I've traveled the whole world. I've been to Africa, climbed Kilimanjaro. I've been to 17 countries in Europe. I've been to Australia, Tahiti, Asia. I mean, all over Mexico, all over the Caribbean. I've been very fortunate. And all of those, down to Brazil for Carnival. Oof, highly recommend. So I've been all over the world, and I've experienced everything. And I've always been looking for, I always thought, wow, it'd be really fun to live on an island in the Caribbean. This is my thinking growing up, right? Just from the pictures and videos and stuff. And I came here about 25 years ago I'm a scuba diver, to dive the Blue Hole.
Okay, yeah.
Which is one of the top spots in the world for diving. And it was an amazing dive, by the way. But
and not to age you, not to age you.
I'm 58.
Okay, to age you.
Yeah, to age you.
So 58, 25 years ago. So we're talking
I'm
early
like 30.
2000s.
Yeah.
Like that's when you first came here to sort of scuba dive. And
yes.
And I just want some time reference as to sort of how this place has changed.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Tremendous.
So you came here for the first time then?
Yes. And I, like I said, I've been everywhere. And when I came here, I was like, oh, wow, this could be in my future. This could be the place. And I haven't, I don't know, I haven't felt that way about anywhere except for where I grew up, which is Southern California. I just always thought that was the greatest place on the planet because of the weather and all that kind of, things to do and opportunity, all that. But when I came here, I really fell in love. And so anyway, I go back to my life. I forgot about Belize. And then 25 years later, stuff happens or whatever. And I just needed to start over. And I went, oh yeah, Belize, I'm going there. I literally took a suitcase. I had
I think money. You mean 15 years later.
I'm sorry, 15 years later.
15 years later from 2000, so around 2015.
Yeah. No, 2011.
Okay.
11.
In that range.
So I showed up, a suitcase, and I had barely any money and didn't know anybody, and I just started over. But it's kind of cool because you get to plan your life. Like life just happens and you end up in a job and you end up, oh, this girl got pregnant. Well, now we're married and now we have 4 kids and I got a mortgage and I can't leave.
That sounds
But when
familiar.
you start all over,
Except the can't
you get to
part.
Design your life and, what you want to do. And
Absolutely.
So when I came down here, that was what I did. I just kind of thought about it and what do I want and how do I want my life to look? And I've been living that ever since. And it's literally paradise. I live on an island in the Caribbean. The weather is amazing when it's not raining. And it's just so beautiful. The people are so nice. The food is amazing. Everyone speaks English. They take the US dollar. I mean, I'm selling Belize, but I mean, it's such a great opportunity. It is a third world country. So there are some issues, the authorities or governments or whatever, it's a little slow to get a license or to get this or that, the other thing. It's frustrating like that.
But it also, the way that I see it is, and I know that you feel the same way too, and a lot of people do, it's part of the nostalgia. That it hasn't been taken over by that first world mentality, the environment, the sort of Western culture as they call it, right?
Not at all.
And that's a big part of the attraction.
Not at all. Yeah, it's definitely, the country runs on Belize time. That's what they call it. And so, that's just, you have to get used to it. That's just how it is. But, every now and then, I grew up in Southern California, massive traffic. Every now and then, like today on my way here, there was a little traffic jam because they were checking licenses at the bridge, right? So everyone has to wait in line. And, you get frustrated because you're like, oh, I'm late. And then I'd laugh at myself because I'm like, I'm sitting in a little one-line traffic jam in my golf cart on an island.
Yeah, well, this is
pretty good.
This is where Daniel's going to cut in a picture of what a traffic jam in Belize actually looks like. Because we hit one on our way back from the Secret Beach yesterday, which was about 4.5 golf carts long because the golf cart, ran into the ditch. And I think it took about 28 seconds for us to get through. But it was like, uh-oh, we're in trouble. Hey, everybody back up. Right? So and I think we've hit a couple check stops, which I think might have been 6 cars long.
Mine was like 20. Today.
Oh, 20. Okay. That's intense.
That was intense.
So
I laugh at myself in moments like that and just remember, hey, you're living in paradise, dude. Relax.
Well, and there's 2 sides to that as well, because a big part of my exploration outside of real estate and outside of business, which, I do no matter where I go, and as we all do, right? We all have our thing. It is really to explore that side of it. It's what does the lifestyle look like? And to the point of you selling Belize or just talking about what the realities are, expats and people that are traveling, I have kids. I have 4 kids.
Yeah.
And looking at the logistics of it, the bar for entering the country on what they're looking for is very, very open here. It's very low as
I was
far
going to
as
say what bar?
well, it's I think they dropped the age from 45 to 40. I don't know if
Oh,
that's
you're talking
official.
about the retirement program.
Well, yeah, to be able,
Because anybody can come.
anybody can come. That's right.
Yeah.
So they're very flexible on being able to be here, to renew your visa, to be able to stay here. Doing business here is open to international investment.
Absolutely.
As you mentioned, English is the first language. Like this is a Commonwealth country.
Yeah,
right?
it was originally, for those who don't know, British Honduras. So it was, colonized by the British back in the 1800s, and it became its own country in 1981.
Right.
And so they changed the name to Belize then. So.
And there you go.
Yeah.
And that's so that's another attraction. From a real estate investment standpoint, you're talking no capital gains.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a big one.
Well, that's a huge one.
You buy it for 100,000, sell for 200,000. The 100,000 is your profit, and you get to keep it. Now,
we've got other
depending
things.
on the country that you're from, you might have, like if you're an American, you're supposed to report that and pay tax on it.
Of course, and that's it. Is we're not lawyers, we're not accountants.
Yeah.
We're not giving professional.
But the country of Belize does not charge capital gains.
So it's also got low corporate and personal tax.
Very low.
So if you were to set up now, again, whether you're a citizen or not, or you're a partner of someone who's Belizean or not, or whether you have a bank account, those are all things we'll talk about later. I think and you've got me hooked up with a property manager, Colleen, and
Best
her
on the island. Yep.
Yeah, and what's the name of her?
Crown Property Management.
Crown.
Her that's the company name. The website cpmbelize.com.
All right, so we're actually doing a segment with her tomorrow. So we'll get some fantastic information on that. But everywhere I go, property management is the key. Even if my team is willing and able to take care of it remotely, we always have to have good people on the ground that are taking care of the management, taking care of the construction, and those aspects are critical.
Yeah.
But what I've really learned through the very short time that I've gotten to know Colleen is that she's got a very in-depth knowledge of every other aspect outside of management. The connections, but international investing and the corporate setup and the banking. So we're going to get into that when we have that meeting with her, and that's not our expertise, so that's fantastic. But the point is that there are reasons to be looking outside of our existing markets, and there's a lot of people that are doing that. But there's pros and cons of looking outside of the market and looking into these unknown areas. My whole thing with coming here was I needed to see it and feel it for myself.
Sure.
I needed to see the lifestyle. I needed to see the people. I needed to see the real estate in order for me to really get a true sense of this market. But I mean, I've been here for 2 weeks now, and I'm going to be here for another 6 weeks. But in the big picture, maybe I'm here a little longer than most get to spend on a vacation, but in reality, that's not really living the full life cycle of a season here and getting to know the do's and don'ts and the ifs and the whats and all of the rest of that.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that someone coming here should be paying attention to that maybe you see a lot of people not?
Interesting question. There's almost, it kind of sounds like, what are the negatives of coming here? And there's mosquitoes sometimes.
We experience that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's a certain time of day you got to spray up if you're going to go outside. I have some spray in my pocket. And then there's rain, like sometimes there's hurricanes that can come.
Maybe
most people come down here and bring way too much. Like, you don't need a jacket. You don't need pants. You don't even need tennis shoes unless you're going to the gym or something. Like, yeah. So I don't know if I'm getting
so that's maybe on the side of actually being here physically, which you told me.
Yeah.
If you dare pack too much stuff, don't bring a sweater.
And you still probably brought too much.
I brought a sweater, okay?
Okay.
And I think I needed it. Like there was a week of rain,
did get down to 75,
and the AC was on a little too much. So like some mornings I woke up and I had to wear that sweater, okay? But it was light.
Yeah.
But I'm talking more from a real estate and investment perspective.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and that's okay.
We were talking about
I'm all over the place, and I think that's the whole vibe here.
From
right?
a real estate and investment point of view, it's really basic. Belize is set up on the exact same laws as the United States and Canada, as far as title and ownership and all that kind of stuff. And when you come down, it's a simple process. I would say the two biggest things that stop people. So I'll just tell you right now, if this is one of your things, then it'll stop you. Is there's no true bank financing. We don't have a secondary market. Most banks will do a loan and then they sell it off to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, the secondary market. And we don't have that here. So the banks don't do a lot of financing. And when they do, it's not good. It's like 11% or some crazy thing. So what happens is the sellers will often do financing. And so, most of the deals, there's some sort of seller financing.
And you see that baked into a lot of the listings, right? Like
Yeah.
it's pretty much open. And in a lot of places in North America, you're searching for that, or some people are looking for that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's advertised and sometimes it's not. But here it's pretty clear.
It is.
Right.
Because I tell people, like, on my second conversation or second email, like, I tell them right away, there's no bank financing. So if that's a thing, then now there are some developers who will build, and it's very few, but who will build and take 20% down and let you do a payment plan with them.
Right.
But that's very, don't expect that because it's hard to find.
Right.
And then, so the traditional way is that you put down 50%. So if something's 200,000, you gotta pay them 100,000. And then the seller carries the note and it's set up through the lawyer, through the whatever, the payment. And usually it's like a 5-year interest only with a balloon payment. And so in that 5 years, you might sell it. And in that case, you never pay the balloon payment because somebody else.
Of course.
Or you renegotiate after the 5 years and say, hey, let's do another 5. And if the seller doesn't need the money and they're happy to get their 8% on their money or whatever, that's the going rate is 8%.
Yeah.
Then they do it again. Or in which case a lot of times happens, people want to come down here. I'm not quite ready yet. So I want to buy something, but and I'm going to retire in 3-5 years and I'll sell my house. And so then you would have that money to pay off. And so oftentimes that's how it works. It's a no qualify loan. Nobody cares about your debt ratios or your credit score.
Yeah.
Because if you put down half and miss 2 payments, they're going to take it back.
Yeah, and that's a 50% LTV, and that's pretty common back home, but it still does come with its hurdles.
Yeah.
But that's based on what the asset is actually worth.
Exactly.
And to your point, I mean, if you're going to put 50% down and walk away, I mean, that's a win for the seller anyway.
The person will sell it again and keep your money.
That's right.
So, and then the second thing is, even though property taxes down here are ridiculously low, most of the time in the U.S., I mean, in California, it was like 1.2% annually of your valued property.
Mm-hmm.
You're spending $1,000 a month or a year, a month on property taxes.
At least, yeah.
Right? I mean, it's crazy. But down here, your property taxes annually, less than $500.
Well, I mean, we looked at multiple buildings.
Yeah, but the one that
we were looking at, that was $500.
Yeah,
a year.
It's a friggin'
so
18
it's basically
unit hotel,
a nil line item on your financials,
right next to the beach. It's nothing, right? You don't even think about it. Now, that being said, there's a title transfer tax. And this is the second thing that stops people. So the title transfer tax, the GOB, the government of Belize gets paid up front, basically.
Which is called a stamp tax.
It's called a stamp tax. Yeah,
right.
It's title transfer. And so that's 8%. And then an attorney is who we use as a closing agent. They do the title and the escrow and all the closing documents. And it doesn't matter if it's a corporation or a person to person, all that kind of stuff. They generally charge about 2%. So I tell everybody, when you're buying something, whatever the negotiated price is, so if we negotiate and it's going to be 200,000, you guys are happy. The buyer, you need to add another 10%.
Got it.
And that pays for stamp tax and all the legal and whatnot.
Yeah.
The seller then pays all the commissions. That's just how it works down here. And so if you know that going in, and then every year on, your property taxes are nothing. So,
well, and similar to the markets that I'm used to. You can also add or have a benefit of owning it into a corporation and do a corporate sale, right? So that is still a vehicle that's available here.
Absolutely.
Right?
Many properties are already owned by a Belizean corporation. And so literally you're buying a corporation that owns the property.
That's right.
So technically title doesn't transfer, and there used to be a loophole on that, but the government was, they figured that out pretty quick. And so that doesn't work anymore. But it gets reported. So you have to pay the stamp tax anyway, but there are some things you can do. I won't get into in this video, and it's all legal, but it's some loopholes. And so you can get the stamp tax down. The other part of that I just wanted to throw in is if you do finance, so let's say you did the 5-year note, the title never transfers. It's still in the seller's name until you pay it off. So you don't pay a stamp tax until you pay off the note.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not something that I realized.
It's like a payment, but it's deferred. Like that whole thing can be deferred for as long as you, and if you end up selling the property before you actually pay it off,
then you don't pay it.
You never paid the stamp tax. It goes on to the next guy. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
And that doesn't matter the size of the note?
Nope.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see the wheels turning.
Yeah, there's a wheel turning in there for sure. So, okay, so those are some excellent insights. One of the other things that we have looked at and that you and I have talked about, which I also see as another risk, and I want you to talk about a little bit, is unfinished projects.
Yeah, there's a few of those.
There's a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see? Why? So of course we all know kind of why they exist. Usually,
Well, actually, it's weird because they all have a story.
So tell me the most common story that you see on unfinished projects.
Well, it's always it's some variation of running out of money and people dying or getting sick or whatever that are involved in the project. And a lot of times people that come down here are a little bit older, and so there could be some medical issues. And like one project I'm thinking of that we went and looked at.
Yep, by the soccer field.
Yeah, the 48 unit. The people there was 2 people that were involved in that got sick, and they were actually Canadian, and they had to go back to Canada because where the medicine is and everything. And that's a super sad story because they put in a ton of money into that thing, and they got it all, they did all the groundwork.
Yeah.
They, having the plans and the approvals and all that kind of stuff. And then they built the foundation, and they started, I think 1 floor is done, and then they planned on 3 more, but then they left. And so now it's, it's a great opportunity for somebody.
Yeah.
But what are you buying? You don't know. Did they do good work? Didn't they? So you got to, look at it ahead of time, but it could be a really good opportunity. But so, there's stories, and people get divorced, people die. Somebody, they mismanage their money. They get arrested for things that they've done in the past up in the United States. And I've seen that where people got hauled away and their project's just sitting there.
No kidding. Yeah.
So there's always a story behind every, whatever you're looking at.
Yeah, that's right.
You heard the story yesterday with Adam on how that whole building got built, and
that's right.
There's always a story.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's right. And there is always a story. And the one thing that stuck with me as well, and which I'm well aware of, but is probably a lot more prevalent here than anywhere, is that those projects, when you're getting into heavy development or restoration projects, there is a very real aspect to needing to keep an eye on and manage the everyday work that's going on.
100%. If you're not here, the work's not getting done. You literally got to show up daily. 7 o'clock, whatever the start time is, I'm assuming 7 a.m. You should be there with your coffee and donuts and ready to go, and make sure that, because the workers, when they know that you're watching, they're working.
No kidding.
You take off for a week, you come back, nothing got done. Oh, sorry, boss, blah, blah, blah. There's a story, but that's just the way it is down here. So
yeah, absolutely.
You got to manage your project.
So what do you do for fun?
Well, there's scuba diving and snorkeling, which is, I've dove all over the world, and this is, some of the best in the world. The water is super warm. The visibility is forever. There's lots to see. So that's always fun. Go bar hopping,
There's a very vibrant life here. A very vibrant nightlife for sure.
In San Pedro, in other parts of the country, there's a very vibrant nightlife. There's always something to do. That's fun. I have kids, and so daily we like to, during the summers anyway, when it's super hot, we like to go swimming every day. So we try to pick a new place to go. There's lots of places. Secret Beach is super fun. And you see the pictures of that. That's amazing. You guys just went,
We
right?
were just there yesterday. Yep.
Yeah,
We were absolutely. And part of what we were thinking when we were out there was how much of the development or how much of the attraction is pushing out to what would be the west coast of this island, which is facing the mainland.
Yeah.
Explain to me a little bit about your knowledge, your perception on what that looks like on an East Coast development, which is ocean facing,
Right.
or West Coast development on this island, which would be mainland facing.
Yeah. So even though it's all ocean, we call the West Coast the lagoon side. It's not a lagoon. But
not on the far side.
Yeah,
because there are properties
there's areas
interior
that are lagoon, but we call it the lagoon side and the ocean side.
That's right.
And so Secret Beach is on the lagoon. It's all ocean. It's amazing. The biggest drawback, and anybody who's been to the Caribbean in the last 8 to 10 years has probably experienced it, is called sargassum.
Yeah,
and it's seaweed. They're out in the middle of the Atlantic. There's 1 million square miles north and south of sargassum. It's called the Sargassum Sea. It's not connected to the bottom. It just floats. It's out in the middle. And because of whatever weather patterns, sometimes that whole weather pattern that brings the hurricanes like across the Atlantic from Africa into the Caribbean, it scoops up the sargassum and pushes it in. And then once the sargassum comes in, it does the whole Caribbean loop, and it's nasty. It's seaweed and it floats. It has these little tiny bubbles, so it won't ever sink unless you shred it. And so it finds its way here, and it's kind of the same season as the rainy season now. It's kind of a seasonal thing. Right now, there's no sargassum.
Right.
It's awesome, right?
Yeah.
And you forget for 6 months, and you're like, oh, good, sargassum's gone. And then it shows back up, and you're like, no. And it can get deep. Like I've seen it 50, 100 feet.
You're talking like into the water.
Go in. You can't go in.
Yeah.
It's just there's seaweed piled up all the way out. And so because of that, the West Side got super popular all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Before, nobody wanted the West Side. It was like, we want the ocean.
Yeah.
And now everybody wants the West Side. And so, the sargassum is a thing. You got to deal with it. It comes and goes. But yeah, that definitely made the West Side more popular.
And so where do you see the most opportunity? I know you're very gung ho on San Pedro, and I think there's a lot of reason for that.
Sure.
So for people that would be or could be focused on ambergris key investments, where do you see the biggest opportunities?
So for the island itself, just where they are, it's building like crazy. So town is pretty much built out, right? So then you have the north side of the bridge, all the way up to around 9 miles, is very much under construction. Some of the west side a little bit, but mostly along the ocean, there's new developments everywhere you go. And it's crazy because every time it seems like if I don't go up that way for 2 weeks, then all of a sudden I'll go up there and where did that come from? There's a new thing, a new store, a new hardware store, a new whatever, always being done. And the South as well. So the roads, I know we're an island, right? So we started with dirt roads. When I first came here, there was no road past the circle.
Right.
It was dirt. There was no road on the other side of the bridge. It was dirt, all the way up. So anyway, when they built that road, that really opened it up. That made it nice because with rain and dirt, you get mud and puddles, and it's not fun.
Potholes.
Yeah. And so,
which don't sound like a big deal until you're driving around in a golf cart all day.
Yes, golf carts aren't made for islands; they're made for golf courses.
That's right.
Some people don't know that.
No, only people here don't know that.
We know. So now the South, when you go past Mahogany Bay, is all dirt, all the way to the tip of the island. And so, but they just announced plans to pave it all the way down. And so I see that. And I'm telling you, man, that really increases property prices because
big time.
You imagine you come here on vacation and you're staying at this really nice resort and you get off the plane and they pick you up, and then all of a sudden you find yourself going down this muddy puddle. What the hell? What did I get myself into?
Yeah.
And when you get to the resort, it's amazing. But there's that road in between was like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah,
it's like a jungle.
That's right.
So once they pave it all out, I mean, it's people.
And is that where you see most of the sort of commercial expansion, sort of big name expansion going?
Yes. So it's pushing down south, but it's also where the road ends. And then they're going to, north, they're going to make the road go even further. And so all of that happens, you know,
Yeah.
and then they build on both sides. And so, yeah, there's just a ton of stuff going on.
No kidding.
Ton of stuff.
What about the Secret Beach side?
So Secret Beach wasn't a thing until around 2016. And I know the whole backstory. I won't get into all of it, but there, you know, a guy owned a bunch of land out there, and he put the investment in for the roads and all this kind of stuff. And the first time I went to Secret Beach, like I was hearing all this rumor about Secret Beach, and it was really hard to find, and you got lost on the way. Wasn't, you know, and then you get there, and it was like, there's like a lady on the side selling some stuff out of a cooler. And I'm like, this is Secret Beach? And it wasn't that impressive. And then the next time I went, there was a big bar called Secret Beach Bar. They were clever. And so that was the first place when the road dead ended and went right to Secret Beach Bar. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then the next time I went, there was 2 more bars. And now there's like 15
That's right.
bars and restaurants and everything like that. And so there's an area of land that's all on the water, obviously, right? All of that's on the water. And then the land that's behind it is all being sold lots. And so a lot of people bought in early for like 25,000 a lot. And now those are going for 50,000, 60,000, depending on where they're at. There's lots that are going for over 200,000. You know, if it's just dirt, it's, you know, it still needs to be filled. It still needs to be cleared from the brush and all that kind of stuff. So it's just raw. But, I think, you know, the whole island of Ambergris Key, there's one town, and that's San Pedro. And those kind of use interchangeably, people, you know, that don't know. But anyway, so I believe it feels like Secret Beach will be the second town on the island. And so there's a lot of opportunity out there, but it's probably a little bit, you know, a few years away. Right now, there's all the time, there's little houses pop up all over the place, but they're not like all in a row. There's no master development as far as everyone buys a house, buys the land, and then builds their own house.
That's right.
Which is kind of cool if you like to be a little bit secluded and you don't, you know, want neighbors, but a lot of people like that. And so the problem with Secret Beach, if there's a problem, is that it closes at like 6 o'clock. Right? All the bars and restaurants close. And then what do you do?
Yeah, we experienced that yesterday. Yeah. Right? As soon as the sun went down, we were out of there.
Get out. Pay your bill. Leave. And there's no like groceries. There's no infrastructure for grocery stores or that kind of thing. And speaking of infrastructure, there's no water. Everyone collects their water, right? And it has cisterns that they keep it in.
No wells?
There might be some wells, but that's kind of hit and miss.
Yeah.
And then there's no electricity. It's all solar.
Right.
So you're literally on the cutting edge out there. And so if you can deal with all that frontier mentality type thing, then go for it. You know, it's awesome. And it's growing. And if you wanted to invest and have your property, you know, buy up, you know, build a house and have it double or triple in the next few years, that'd be a great spot. Yeah. You know,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So
way before infrastructure comes.
Yes, that's the thing. Once the infrastructure comes, then the price is already built in.
Which who knows how long that'll
take. And that's
take.
a few years. And there's talks, high-level talks about building an international airport.
I heard about that.
And so that main road that you're on going out to Secret Beach, the big long one, right before you make the turn. Is
the paved one?
Part of it. Anyway, it's to the north of Secret Beach. Not on the water, but like where So anyway, they're talking about put an international airport in there. We only have one international airport in the country right now, and that's in Belize City, next to Belize City. And so you fly in there, and then from there you go to wherever else you go in Belize.
That's right.
And so they're talking about this one, and so that's probably, you know, 3-4 years away if it's going to happen. Yeah. It'll happen eventually, but and then there's all kinds of master development projects going on up there, and there's just a ton of stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. So what's in your future? What is in that now? Your son is 10 years old, right? So same age as my twin daughters.
Yeah.
And
play date.
There's going to be a play date in our very near future. But what's in your future? Our wives got to meet, and that's where, you know, again, we met 6 to 8 months ago, but since we've known each other and even just coming here, we've gotten to know each other pretty well.
Yeah.
So what's I'm curious to know, like what's in your sort of short-term and long-term plans for you, your family, and what does 15 years of Belizean lifestyle get you for what the next 10 look like?
Yeah. So, you know, I have the kids that I'm raising. I also have a 17-year-old daughter. And
that's right. Which is your wife's?
It's my bonus daughter.
Yeah.
She came along. She was 5. I've raised her since then.
Yeah. Amazing.
And, you know, I didn't used to be a family man. I was a bachelor up until then. And and I thought I was going to remain that. And so now but I love being the dad. I love being the family man. So I love that. I love raising the family. We go to a school events all the time. My kids playing soccer and doing marching band, and my daughter does the flags and the marching band. And it's just fun going to all the events and stuff like that. And building out the MLS is super fun. I love doing business, you know.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
and real estate is just, you know, it's fun. It's a good business, you know. It just is.
Well,
There's always issues with any kind of business, but it's still fun. There's not. I don't know. I don't feel the stress.
when it's
Like
in your
back
blood,
in the
it's in your
States.
blood.
Yeah,
It's just in there.
Yeah, I did real estate back in the U.S. and I came down there. I didn't plan on doing real estate. It just kind of fell into it. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, so now, you know, that I just build out the business, and that's fun. And
Do you see yourself staying?
I'm never leaving.
You're never leaving.
Never leaving.
And
I
so,
mean,
like, you came here, you planted your seed, literally
Yes.
and metaphorically. And
yes. I
and
live in paradise. Why would I leave? You know, that's the thing I wanted to bring up real quick because I feel like we're rounding up. Belize is still a secret somehow. I don't get it. One of the top search terms related to Belize is, where is Belize? Like, people don't know. And
it's a big thing.
It is. And
Yeah.
so when people come here, like oftentimes, like by day 3, they're like, you live here, huh? Yeah. Well, how could I do that? Like I get that question all the time. How can I live here? And there's only 2 things that stop people: making money, right? So
Yeah.
if you don't have your own money, you got to figure out how to make money when you get here.
That's right.
And then heartstrings. So like if you're a grandparent and you have your grandkids back
Yes.
there, you don't want to leave your grandkids, you know, that type of thing. Some people don't care. They're like, oh, just video them. But, you know, so those are the 2 things. But yeah,
Well, and from what I understand, that's why a lot of people do leave. It's either medical.
get away from family.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
to go home, you
to
mean?
leave here.
Oh, yeah. I'm
like
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, to go back.
It goes both ways. Yeah, but
Oftentimes, so yeah.
medical and to be closer to family
Yes.
for whatever reason that means, right?
Yes. And the fact that Belize is small and everybody knows everyone, like the
Yeah.
whole country, there's 425,000 people in the whole country.
In the entire country.
That's smaller
Yeah.
than most cities in North America, right? And so everybody knows everybody. So guess what happens? If you're a snake or a thief or a jerk or an a-hole, everybody knows instantly,
Very quick.
and you don't make it. And so people, the a-holes weed themselves out. They come down and you find, you know, I've seen too many of them, and they come down and you figure it out pretty quick, and then
Yes.
you get ostracized, and then you're like, I'm going home, and they leave. It's nice. Leaves all the nice people behind.
Which is a big part of what I appreciate about small communities.
Yeah.
And to me, a big attraction for being in the small country, small towns, small communities, that stuff sorts itself out pretty quick.
Yeah.
You meet
Yeah.
pretty good people, you know it right away.
All good people down here.
Yeah.
So many. Yeah.
It's very, very good. So you've got business, you've got your family, you've got your life established here. We've got a couple friends that won't leave us
Let's
alone
meet
in the air. Yeah, we got that. What is it that you would recommend to people that are looking to establish business or life here from all of your experience?
So come down for a visit first. You know, make sure it is for you. There's a couple people they can't deal with the mosquito or the fact that there's not a movie theater. There's no, you're not going to get to go to the theater, the operas. There's not your traditional shopping malls.
Yeah.
Like you have in the States. There's no McDonald's.
No
There's
fast
no
food.
Starbucks.
That's a big one.
There's no fast food at all.
Big one in a good way for as far as I'm concerned.
People love it to come down here and get away from all of that. They
Yeah.
really do. But some people, you know, they love that part. They love that part of their culture.
No Amazon. Can't just ring a ding a ding and get your
Yeah.
stuff delivered, right?
Yeah. So the way we get around that is we have what they call mules. And so everybody knows somebody coming down. And I see it all the time, you know, anyone know someone coming down this week? And then they send the package, you know, the Amazon
That's
to
funny.
that person, and then they bring it down in their luggage.
Yeah, that's
But
really
yeah,
nice.
so where was I? I forgot.
No, it was just the things,
Yeah, so none
things
of that
to think about
stuff.
coming
So
in.
some people can't deal with not having that kind of that lifestyle, but it's much more laid back.
Yeah.
If you don't want stress in your life, I mean, if you have stress in your life down here, it's because you brought it with you. Because this life down here doesn't give it to you.
Well, and I think you nailed it there. It was come and check it out. And I mean,
Yes.
and that's what I'm doing, right?
Spend a couple weeks,
spend some
you'll
time,
fall in love, I guarantee it. And then,
figure
like
out
I
what's
said,
right for
day
you.
3, you're like, how can I live here? That's just the way it works.
Now, from a real estate perspective, as we start to wrap up here, for the audience that we have that is focused on real estate investments, lifestyle is a big part of it, but that's the whole point of investing in a place that you can enjoy while you invest. Short-term versus long-term rental. To just talk quickly about what we sort of discussed when we were on our trip. There was, without speaking for you here, we were talking about what the focus would be on long-term versus short-term, and what is the housing situation like for both locals and for expats in the community right now?
Well, speaking for San Pedro, you have sort of 3 markets. You have the expat community. So there's about 20 plus thousand, about 20,000 that live on San Pedro on the island here.
Yep.
And about 2,000 of those are expats, Americans and Canadians.
Okay.
It's about 50-50.
So about 10% of the population.
Yeah. And so those people all need to live somewhere long term. A lot of them buy, but some of them don't, they don't have the wherewithal to buy yet. So they're just, they rent. And it's really hard to find a place to rent long term, depending on the time of year, especially. So there's a really good opportunity to build that, is long-term rentals that are nicer, higher end type stuff. And those would be, 1 bedrooms are going for in a higher end, probably $1,000 to $1,200 US. I always speak in US. And then 2 bedrooms would go for like $1,500 to $1,800 in the higher end, long term. The other side of the market is the locals that live here, the people that work here, that the minimum wage here is literally like $5 US. I'm sorry, it's not even $5 US, it's $5 Belize, so $250 US.
Yes.
So it's like, a lot of people, they live on tips, but it's, that's a tough. And so those and there's a lot, because they all work either in construction, or they're working in the tourism industry, the bars, the restaurants, the hospitality, all that kind of stuff. And they're not getting paid a lot, but they still got to live here, right? On the island.
Yeah.
And so they live in the lower end, and they spend, 200 to 250 Belize, which is 100 to 125 US a week, for a place to live.
Yeah.
And so, you've got that opportunity. And then you have the short term, which is all the people that come down here to vacation or stay for whatever. And that's really, really tremendous. There's
during the up season, right?
Yes. So there's 2 seasons: slow season, busy season. Busy season starts, it's coming up around Christmas and goes for about 5 months, 6 months. And then the other half of the year, it's a lot slower. And there's a couple of dead months where just nobody comes down here. Those are my favorite, by the way. And so, yeah. So, but during the busy season, the short-term rental market, the Airbnb type market, that's huge. You built a nice place, and you can get $150 a night, So when you're renting something out, you have the pluses and minuses of a long-term, where you don't have to deal with your tenant very much. They pay their rent on time, and they, maybe they call you because the toilet gets plugged or something. But other than that, it's handoff. Whereas short term, you got people checking in, checking out. There's cleaning stuff. Something goes missing, something breaks, there's a lot of stuff that can but you're making $150 a night. So even if you're, at 50% occupancy during the slower times, you're still making a good amount of money.
That's right.
And so, so when you're a developer down here, you got to figure it out. Which one do I want to do? And you can do a mixture sometimes. The long term, you don't need any license for. You can you build something and you rent it long term. The short term, you have to get a license through the government, the BTB, it's called Belize Tourism Board. And that's a bit onerous. They're very strict. There's a bunch of hoops you got to jump through, and it takes time and money and all this kind of stuff, which you're about to find out if you buy. And so, it deters people a little bit, just because it's like, man, how long does it take to get something done around here? And that's where someone like a Colleen comes in, because she's so well connected and knows everybody and knows the process.
Just going to say,
holds your hand through it. And some people are like, no, I'm going to save the money. I don't want to spend it. I'm going to do it myself. And then, all right, buddy, I'll see you in a year,
Yeah. Don't worry, you'll pay for it one way or another.
Whereas Colleen comes along and pulls you through in maybe 3 months or whatever, and makes it happen. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of the marketplace there. And then of course businesses and things like that, there's a lot of potential.
That's right. We won't dive too much into that because we don't have too much more time here, but everybody knows how to Google.
Yep.
Everybody knows how to search
Yep.
for the hot things to do.
Yeah.
What could you recommend as we close out here? Somebody coming here,
Mm-hmm.
where are the things that they're going to find some interesting stuff in San
Yes.
Pedro after being here for 15 years?
Yes.
What are some of the things that, people should definitely check out, should definitely be aware of, and like not going to find on just some random Google search?
Well, yeah. Okay. So this is for you as well, because you might not know this. There's 2 Belizes,
Okay. That's the first time
One-
I've heard this.
right? So one is all the islands, the beachfront, the sailing, the fishing, which is amazing, 12 months a year, the snorkeling, scuba diving, going to Secret Beach, like just all of that is amazing. And if you come down here for a week,
Fill your boots.
yeah, you're going to have, you're going to spend that whole week doing that. It's amazing. And then the other Belize is the inland Belize, which is the mountains,
Mhm.
right? The jungles, I was going to say gardens, the jungles, all the Mayan ruins are amazing. The cave tubing, which I've done, is spectacular. There's even the zip lining, all that kind of stuff, horseback riding, waterfalls, like that's all on the mainland up inland a little bit. And there are some jungle resorts that are spectacular.
No kidding.
You go and stay in a jungle resort, and it's just it's hard to describe. You have to experience it. And so, if you want to do but that's another week. And it's some people come down here and want to do both, and you know what? You're just traveling and you're just moving around too much, and you don't get to enjoy anything.
Where do you go?
Well, you mean specifically? I'm just saying, like, if you want to you want to come down here, do two different
Different
weeks.
experiences. So if
Yeah.
I had a week on the mainland, what area would you go?
Well, you want to go up in the Cayo area,
Okay, which is San Ignacio.
San Ignacio. It's closer to the Guatemalan border,
Yes.
closer to the western border. And do a search. There's a ton of resorts out there in the jungles. I don't have all their names off the top of my head, but I've been fortunate to stay in quite a few. Down south, there's a bunch. There's just tons of stuff. And when you get out into the country, like you come to Belize City, don't stay there. Go through it. Some people make the mistake, because there's a couple nice hotels there, but there's nothing to do in the city, and much of it's poor. And there's, it's just not, if you go to Chicago, you don't stay in downtown Chicago. You know what I mean? Like, don't
Go check out the attractions.
get outside of it. And so you leave and you go out. And once you get outside the city, which is not very big, I think there's like 60,000 people. So it takes you a minute and you're out. But just when you're driving through the farmlands and all that kind of stuff, it's so beautiful. And you're slightly going uphill. You don't even know it when you're going out towards San Ignacio, Cayo area. And then you get up there, and now you're up in the mountains. There's no snow. There's never snow. It doesn't get that cold. But it's just, a couple thousand feet up elevation wise. And it's just the jungle, and it's so beautiful.
Awesome.
So amazing. And the Mayan ruins, spectacular.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. Well, hey, got you out here. Pleasure having you.
Yes, thanks.
You have the experience, not only from a local perspective, but an expat perspective.
Yeah.
You're also very focused on helping to create some time freedom to give everybody the luxury of enjoying life,
Yes.
or at least have a slice, a
Yes.
little bit of what you're doing every single day here.
Yep.
Appreciate it, the time that you've taken for us. And for all the viewers, I hope this has brought a lot of value to your experience of looking at international investing or living, or even just to come here for a little bit to experience what
You'll love
everybody
it.
else here
I
experiences on a daily basis.
I guarantee it.
Which you have since I've got here, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you.
Yes. as
And
well.
and we've got a lot more time together, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yes.
So thank you for watching the Ultimate Real Estate Lifestyle Podcast with with the host Guy Bouchard and our guest Grant Ice, real name, not fake, future movie star.
I don't know about that. Belize Real Estate MLS.com.
There you
You'll
go.
find it. Just Google anything
Anything in Belize, yeah. you only need one search and you'll find them. So
Yeah.
Grant,
Yes.
thank you very much, and
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. All right.
Pleasure.
Take care, you guys. Love you. We'll see you on the next episode.